नमस्कार। श्री Ramakrishna Kathamrita. कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री Ramakrishna Kathamrita प्रथम भाग चतुर्थ खंडो और सप्तम परिच्छेद, and Sri Ramakrishna has beautifully answered the question raised by Vijay Krishna Goswami as to if you are saying that we should convert this wretched ego into das ami servant ego, then how are the lust, anger, all these passions manifested in a person? How they get expressed in the person? And then Sri Ramakrishna says, he has answered that particular query saying that person who has got into this servant ego or a child ego or a devotee ego, for those people, the lust and anger and all these passions, they are nothing but just for the name's sake. They may feel to get angry, but there's no anger in them. It is like the coconut tree from which branch has fallen and left mark. Then we say, seeing that park, oh, at one point of time, there used to be a branch here, which is now no more. That becomes the condition of passions like lust, anger, greed, jealousy in the people who have converted their wretched ego in ripe ego, into devotee ego, into child ego. And then Sri Ramakrishna has also given us that example of the sword. Having touched the philosopher's stone, the sword has become a golden sword which cannot injure anybody, which cannot even make a hole into any skin. It is of no use for harming anybody. It is just there, the shape and the form. It has remained that of a sword, but it has no in it. It has no power to injure anybody in it. Then Sri Ramakrishna told us that the person becomes just like a child. Just like a child, the person doesn't have any, uh, a long-standing anger or any of those negative emotions, the anger, greed, lust, frustrations. They don't. And then Sri Ramakrishna had told that how pure and innocent child is. Person retaining the ego of a child or a servant or a devotee of the Lord behaves just like that. He may show temporary anger. If you snatch away something from the child would get angry like anything. But the next moment you give him a little bit of a sugar candy, the child is so happy. The child is so simple that if his mother tells him that this person is your elder brother, that's it. The child will believe that person to be elder brother, not worried about what caste he belongs to and what is his background. My mother has told me this person is my elder brother. That is enough for me. He is my elder brother, and the child will even eat from the same plate with that person. For child, there is no caste distinction. There is no distinction of high and low. There is no distinction of male and female. There is no distinction of a rich person, a poor person. For him, anybody who shows love and affection, the child reciprocates the love and affection. So that is what he becomes like. There is no gruna, balukir gruna, no, there is no hatred in the heart of child. No, it is absolutely pure, it is absolutely sweet, it is absolutely innocent. Then Sri Ramakrishna further explains, কেউ কেউ সমাধির পুরো ভক্তের আমি দাস আমি নিয়ে থাকি। Says some people even after attaining the samadhi, after having the transcendental experience, they retain this ego bhaktirami dashami on purpose. Because normally what happens, like Sri Ramakrishna explained to us earlier, that after the mind comes over here on the seventh plane of Sahasrara, gets into samadhi, within 21 days, body falls, person dies. Because there is nothing that is left out now. The Jivatma has merged with the Paramatma. The Jivatma has merged with the Brahman in the Satchidananda. So what is the need to retain this body? Body falls off of its own. But some people, they do retain the body for teaching others. And in that condition, they retain the body through the Bhakti Rami, the devotee ego, or Dashami, servant ego. Ami Dash, তুমি প্রভু, আমি ভক্ত, তুমি ভগবান। এই অভিমান ভক্তের থাকে, ঈশ্বর লাভের পুরো থাকে, সব আমি যাই না। And then Sri Ramakrishna says that people who retain this ego like this, what happens to them? Ami Das, Tumi Prabhu, I am the servant, you are the master. That attitude. Ami Bhakto, Tumi Bhagavan, I am the devotee, you are the Lord. Hmm. এই অভিমান ভক্তির থাকে। Keeping this I consciousness, retain that I consciousness, either I am a servant or I am a devotee, and that beautiful unharming consciousness, I consciousness, having retained, ঈশ্বর লাভের pro থাকে, সব আমি যাই না. And for such people, even having had God realization, for such people, the ami, the ego, the I consciousness doesn't go. This I consciousness is totally different from that wretched I consciousness which the person had earlier before God realization. For with that earlier wretched, unripe, the dirty I consciousness, the arrogant, egotistic I consciousness, person would not even think twice of harming anybody to fulfill his desires of lust and greed. But now it is all different. The person has had the God realization. He has had samadhi. In spite of that, person retains the child ego, person retains the servant ego, person retains the devotee ego. And আবার এই অভিমান অভ্যাস করতে করতে ঈশ্বর লাভ হয়ে, and again you see the fun. Person has already attained God realization, but he has come down from that plane and retained the child ego or a devotee ego or a servant ego, and he's again a bit away from God realization. He has brought himself down from Sastrar to maybe Vishuddha, or maybe even to Anahat. Because devotee ego is making him do all these things. You are the Lord, I am the devotee. You are the master, I am the servant. You are the mother, I am your child. And again, আবার এই অভিমান অভ্যাস করতে করতে ঈশ্বর লাভ হয়। again enjoying practice of this feeling of I-ness with God, the I-ness of a child of God or a servant of God or a devotee of God. Again, mind goes back to the God realization. So the journey continues. And Erui Nam Yog. And Sri Ramakrishna says this process, in spite of having had the God realization, bringing the mind down again with the child ego or a devotee ego or a servant ego, and again practicing the same devotion, practicing the same love for the master, practicing the same love for the mother, one again gets the God realization. And again the mind comes down, and Sri Ramakrishna says this is what is called as Bhakti Yoga, yoga of devotion. And here again and again, I am reminded of Swami Turiyanandaji is saying about our Holy Mother Sri Sarda Devi, our Ma. Ma's mind, her natural tendency being the manifestation of the Divine Mother, of the Universal Mother, her natural tendency was to merge into Samadhi. The love and compassion for her children. She, with great effort, having got entangled herself in the so-called love and affection of her Radhu, she had continuously used to bring her mind to the level of the throat and prevent it from going up, prevent it from merging the self in the self. And this is what Swami Turiyanandaji used to tell the devotees. Look at us. With great effort, we are trying to bring our mind up and up and up. And look at our Ma. She is all the time with great effort. She's bringing down her mind to the lower plane out of compassion for her children. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna says. This is the Bhakti Yoga. This is the yoga of devotion. That mind the person having reached God realization brings the mind on the lower plane and again practices that devotion, again practices that chanting of the Lord's name, chanting the name of the mother, finding all the happiness and joy and bliss in that chanting, and again reaching the lamp, getting the God realization, and again bringing down. The cycle goes on and on and on. ভক্তির পথ ধরে গেলে ব্রহ্মজ্ঞান হয়ে, Sri Ramakrishna says, with this path of devotion also, one gets the God realization. It's not that we have to only follow the path of knowledge to get God realization. Through this path also, through the path of devotion, through the bhakti yoga also, one gets the God realization. ভগবান সর্বশক্তিমান মনে করলে ব্রহ্মজ্ঞানও দিতে পারেন. Hmm? Now, Sri Ramakrishna says, the God is omnipotent. He is Sarvashaktiman. He is all powerful. And he can also impart knowledge of Brahman to the follower of devotion. মনে করলে ব্রহ্মজ্ঞানও দিতে পারেন. If that all the knower, Brahman, he knows everything. What is there in my mind, in your mind, in that person's mind? If he knows that my child is yearning for the knowledge, he will give ultimate knowledge of God realization to those children also who are treading the path of devotion, who are on the path of bhakti yoga. Prayo Brahmogyan Choina. Normally, Sri Ramakrishna says, normally, these devotees, they are so smart. They don't want the Brahmagyan. Hmm. Although they are following the path of devotion, ultimately they are going to get. But these people are so intelligent. These devotees are so smart. They don't want the Brahmagyan. Why? Amidas, আমি প্রভু, আমি ছেলে, তুমি মা, এই অভিমান রাখতে চায়। They want to enjoy the state. They want to enjoy the state of calling upon the Lord, calling upon their mother as, I am your devotee, you are my Lord. I am your child, you are my mother. They want to experience the joy and happiness and bliss of that chanting the name of the Lord, that chanting the name of the mother, that remembering I am mother's child. The kind of joy we get from this feeling is much more than having the God realization and merging one's little self into the big self. That is the Sri Ramakrishna says. In fact, these people who are on the Bhakti Yoga, they don't seek Brahma Gyan, God realization as their ultimate goal. They just want to enjoy. They want to enjoy singing the glories of the mother, chanting the name of the mother. That is their cleverness. They don't want to become one with the mother. No. It is like here that Sri Ramakrishna told, I am seeing my mother. I want to touch it, but I cannot touch it because of that barrier of the glass covering on the lantern. I cannot touch the flame. Because of that barrier of child ego, I am not able to become one with my mother. And Sri Ramakrishna says, devotees don't want that becoming one with mother. They just want to enjoy how beautiful my mother looks. They want to enjoy that beautiful, serene look of the form of their mother. Such a beautiful face, such a smiling, so the motherly smile on that face, looking down, looking on her at her child, with all that love and affection and compassion flowing through the mother's eyes. That's the sight they want. They don't want Brahmagan. They don't want God realization. That is the beauty. And this is what Sri Ramakrishna has told us. Ami Prabhu, Ami Chele, Ami Das, Tumi Ma. এই অভিমান রাখতে চায়. They want to have that consciousness only. That you are the mother, let me be your child. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's teaching to us today in that seventh chapter of the fourth section of the first volume of Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali. Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishna. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur.